Welcome to the Fortress Press Introducing the Bible to First-Time Religion Course Students webinar. We're very pleased to have Dr. Jerry Sumney with us, the author of Fortress Press's The Bible, an Introduction. Our moderator today will be Ross Miller, the senior editor at Fortress Press. With that, I would like to turn it over to Ross to get us going.
Great. Thanks very much, Teague, and thanks to all who have joined us today. As the Senior Acquisitions Editor at Fortress, my work largely focuses on the undergraduate textbook program, and so I'm very happy to be able to introduce to you today Jerry Sumney, the author of a new undergraduate text we have, The Bible, an Introduction. Jerry has is teaching at Lexington Theological Seminary for about the last 12 years or so. Prior to that, he had taught at Ferrum College in Virginia for about 10 years to undergraduates. And much of his research is devoted to New Testament studies, especially Pauline studies, and he serves as the chair of the Disputed Pauline section for the SBL, and also chairs the Pauline Epistles and Literature section for the international meeting of the SBL. So we're very glad that he is one of our authors. We're looking at a variety of issues today related to the teaching of the Bible, especially the introductory course at undergraduate, public, and private institutions. But before we begin, one quick housekeeping note. If anyone on the meeting wishes to ask a brief question of Jerry as we're going, please just speak right up and interrupt and make your question known. But please also know that we're going to try to set aside about 10 minutes or so towards the end for more of a robust discussion, question-answer period as well, if you can hold questions till then. Well, as we have only about an hour to fit in a discussion of the entire Bible, let us begin. And in as much as this webinar is focused on the Bible and teaching materials, also looks at the course and the students, so let us look first at the students who occupy those seats in the classroom. Jerry, if you could first speak then to some of the characteristics that you see in your first-time religion students in the Intro to Bible course.
All right. Thank you, Ross, and thanks for you who are here with us today. As I think about students in these courses, they're a very diverse group. You, of course, have traditional students who are 18 to 23, and you have a lot of, an increasing number, I think, of second career students. And recently, with the new kind of GI bill that's been passed, I think there are going to be more people that fit into the kind of 30-year-old range. Most of them are going to be in their early years of college because, they're in the course because it's a requirement, either some religion course or philosophy or humanities. On the other hand, I think occasionally you're going to have folks who are in their very last semesters just because they needed a class that fit into whatever hour this is. Lots of people then are going to be there because they have to be there. There are going to be some people there because they're interested in the topic. Others there because they think they already know what the topic is about, so it won't be very hard. After all, they've been going to church a long time. And, of course, they're going to be the people who I think are probably the most distressed about 2 weeks into the course. But probably one of the characteristics true of most of them is going to be that they're completely ignorant of anything or of everything in the Bible. I was teaching a New Testament course for undergraduates several years ago, and some students came in and told me they were just confused about what was going on in the class, and the class hadn't been going on that long. So I asked them, what was it that was confusing to them? And they said, well, you keep talking about people and things we don't know about. And I said, well, tell me, what do you mean? And their response was, well, who are these people like Moses and Abraham? People that I thought everyone in the world knew something about, or at least everyone in America. But I was wrong. So these students come with not even the most basic sort of cultural literacy about the Bible.
Yes, I was talking to a professor at a public institution in Arizona this morning, and she said without fail, she is asked in every class if Jesus is real or mythical. And she's always astounded by it anymore, but she has to prepare them for it, as you do too, it sounds.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. With regard to your students, then, what are their particular experiences and attitudes toward religion as they come into your class?
Again, I think it's going to be very diverse. Some of them are certainly going to be angry at their religious upbringing. They feel themselves to have been oppressed, sometimes rightly so, by what they lived with while they were growing up, and they're going to want to discredit just about everything that is said and make sure that the class does the same thing when it comes to what's in the Bible. On the other extreme, we're going to have people who are very sure in their beliefs and maybe are even wanting to challenge the professor when the way they have heard it all their lives is questioned. I remember once it was Parents' Day, and one of the students who had been having some significant difficulty thinking about critical study of the Bible, his mother came to see me, and her question has sort of, to start off our conversation, not her question, her statement was, "I hear you used to be a Christian." So just questioning some of the things that they held to be just central to what it meant to be a believer meant that the kind of things that we do in critical study of religion is just contrary to having any sort of faith. And I remember another time a student who had gone through my Introduction to New Testament course, who belonged to a campus organization, which you can all probably guess, came up to me, read a passage out of the New Testament, and said, "Now, that doesn't need any exegesis." And I said, "Well, okay." By then, it was clear that he didn't want to, or was still unable in some ways, to use critical reading skills or to understand how they came into play. So you're going to have some who feel just challenged in that way. But I think maybe the dominant group in a beginning class for religion are going to be those who are there because they need to be. A lot of students now, as you know, are so job-oriented that they think taking any course in the humanities is unimportant. And it might be particularly this one in the humanities is unimportant. So I think you'll have a number of those, and then, of course, always those people who will be in there because it's not at 8 o'clock in the morning. Anything is better than 8 o'clock.
Right. And we're not actually jumping ahead to other parts of the webinar, but I'm curious if over the semester then, do you find that the attitudes change, or, do the devout believers who want to make sure that you're a good Christian and so forth, do they kind of remain fixed in their beliefs, or have biblical methods somehow, enlighten them, or at least had them think differently about the Bible without just chucking the whole thing?
Yeah.
Do you see the change in attitudes?
Sometimes you do. Again, the range is pretty significant. I think there are students who manage to see new ways of viewing the text as things that enrich them, and others that can't make that kind of connection. And my guess is the same thing is happening as they are working in their history courses, that they can't entertain other ideas about how to interpret historical events, that just the one they have is the way it is. And I think those are largely those people that aren't managing to think about how or what the purpose of liberal arts education is. They understand their degree to be sort of their ticket, but don't really think they're going to get things that enrich or broaden their perspectives out of it. So particularly for first-year students, I think it's hard for them to see courses doing that. But they gain on it. As the semester goes on, I think if they have enriching courses in other subjects, it can contribute a lot to that.
Right. So goes the core curriculum.
Yeah, that's right.